What is up? Welcome to another edition of the NBA Rundown, brought to you courtesy of Run Pure Sports and Run Pure Bets. I'm your host, Astaire, joined today by Tyler Hicks and JSU. And JSU, we've been having a lot of fun this week. I've been watching you on the final countdown every day, building these lineups. So you guys have been doing pretty well. Great call to fade the Warriors players last night. But what are your thoughts? You know, we missed you last week, so we got to catch up here. What are your thoughts on the way the NBA playoffs are going?
Yeah, I missed you guys too. I think what was last Thursday? It was like the travel day. There was no games, right?
So they get them all on the weekend. Yeah.
I think this week, what is that, Saturday? I don't think
there's
Saturday,
no games
right?
on Saturday no matter what.
No matter what. Yeah. So, yeah, it's good to be back with the boys. And, I mean, man, these series, let's just talk about last night, obviously, and we can work our way through. But that Celtics series in Milwaukee, that series is so good. I mean, clearly to me, the two best teams in the East, just straight battling. I honestly feel like, and we can kind of talk a little bit about it since we got time. There's only two games. I honestly feel like there's a little bit of the Minnesota-Memphis series in this series. And I don't mean it by the two actual teams and how good they are. I'm not comparing the two. I'm comparing the series. Because in my eyes, and I think this is how a lot of people felt with Minnesota-Memphis, I think a lot of people felt that even though when Memphis was up in that series, I think people felt like Minnesota should have been up. I think people felt that Minnesota outplayed Memphis for the majority of the time in the series, and they just fell apart at the end. I kind of feel like that's the Celtics and Bucks a little bit. I kind of feel like the Celtics, to me, have been a little better for longer in the series, like if you just watch all the games. But, man, they just collapsed yesterday. They collapsed, and I don't know about you guys, but I'm watching the game. It's the fourth quarter, and I start to see Tatum. He's starting to get a little hero ball in him. He's starting to, dribble a ton in the mid-range, and he's starting to take all those mid-range jumpers. And I just said to myself, I'm like, if he don't start passing the ball, we're going to lose. Like, the Celtics are going to lose this game if he doesn't start trying to get – and, of course, he goes super cold. They can't make a bucket. He's not being aggressive at all. And they end up dropping the game because Bobby Portis was awesome. Bobby Portis saved the Bucks, by the way. That's another thing. Pissed me off too because in the series, I really thought Bobby Portis could make a real impact. You guys, obviously, if you watch the final countdown, you guys probably know because you've watched when we've talked about this game. I really like Bobby Portis in the series. I really thought he's someone that just gives them a little different feel. He can kind of hurt the Celtics a little bit on the boards. He can be a little bit of a mismatch because he's just a problem in my eyes. And they kept playing Brook Lopez over him in the series. And I'm scratching my head. I'm like, why the fuck are they playing Brook Lopez over this dude? It just makes no sense to me. And then finally, Bud makes the adjustment after I swear him off on the show, too. I don't know if you guys...
Yeah, because we took him out of our player pool.
I'm not playing. I played him every single slate. I was overweight on Bobby Portis every single slate until yesterday. And then I was like, I'm not playing him. Bud doesn't want to play him. It seems like whatever. And then all of a sudden, he makes the adjustment. Bobby Portis is in there. And you can't tell me... I know everyone's giving Drew Holiday credit, and he should get a ton of credit. But, man, you can't tell me Bobby Portis didn't keep them around that game. He was so key on the boards. He had some timely shots. He had some timely buckets. And just his presence rebounding. I thought he played a really good all-around game. And then Drew comes out in the end and just hit some major shots, made some big defensive plays. I mean, that block on Smart where he just had the sense to come over and help. Because if he didn't, that was a bucket. Right? That was a foul or a bucket, one or the other. They would have called the foul or he would have got a bucket. So, I mean, it was just it made the series. Giannis can't do everything. I think we've noticed that too because Giannis has big games. It feels like every game, and it still doesn't mean the Bucks win every game, right? That has nothing to do with it. The Celtics are trying to make these other guys, if they get double-double performances from Bobby Portis, the Bucks will win the series. Like if Drew Holiday plays like that again, the Bucks will win the series. That's what the Celtics have done so well, though, throughout the series, in my opinion, is they've let Giannis, like they've played Giannis tough and made him work. He's still going off, but they're trying to stop all these other guys. To yesterday, they've done a really good job, but yesterday we saw it at the end and the full collapse. I mean, you can't tell me, even a Bucks backer can't tell me they weren't worried at all going to that fourth quarter. Their team was outplayed the entire game until the very end of that game. And then the Celtics just dropped it from there. It was unbelievable to watch. Tatum, in my opinion, lost that game for the Celtics. Drew Holiday and Bobby Portis won it for the Bucks. Tatum lost that game for the Celtics. He was awful in the fourth quarter.
Tyler, what were your thoughts on last night's game?
I just wanted to touch on those two smart plays at the end where he did get blocked and then he got stripped at the end.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he was coming up the court pretty lackadaisical at the end of the game, pretty slow with 5 seconds left on the clock. You would think he had a little more urgency. And that shot he took that he got blocked on, he caught it and he instantly went to the rim. Mind you, he had the shot, but we seen in that Brooklyn series when he caught the wide open three and he waited for guys to cut and he passed it to the better player and Tatum laid it in at the buzzer. He made the right decision as a point guard. He kind of reverted to the old Marcus Smart yesterday night and just went full go, give me the ball, I'm going to shoot it like instantly, no matter how much time's left on the clock in this close game.
It was actually an amazing defensive play. It almost looked like to me, who was it, Pat Con or Grayson Allen? I can't remember. Who was guarding him?
I think it was Pat Con.
So it was one of those two. And it almost looked like to me, he almost said, like, I'll give you the baseline. Like, I'll let you think you have the baseline. Because no way that was the drawn-up play for Smart.
It wasn't. They said so afterwards. It was supposed to go to Tatum.
Yeah. But my eyes, I thought that was amazing by him because he was almost saying, I dare you. I know this isn't the play. I dare you to go baseline with that. And he took the bait and he didn't even beat him. Like, he didn't even get a step on him either. Pat Con closed off the distance pretty good and he closed off that baseline. He was in front of him kind of. And then Drew just came off for the block, which was just great help. But yeah, it was almost an amazing play by Pat-Con for allowing him to almost say, I don't care what your play is. I'll give you this if you take it.
He baited him right into that trap. He's like, let's see if we can get him to just take this shot. And he did it.
Yeah. I mean, shit, why wouldn't you? Like, wouldn't you rather Smart take a shot over?
Yeah, they getting the ball to Brown or Tatum, definitely right. For sure. Or even Horford at this point, the way he's playing in this series.
Yeah, I wouldn't want Horford touching the ball if it's like an open jumper. That's for sure.
Yeah, Tyler, as happy I was, because, you know, I'm Team Bucks and I got that series ticket in my pocket. As happy I was at the end of that game, that's how sad I was at the end of the first quarter of the next game. I got an under. I got the Warriors, one of the best defensive teams in the NBA. And they gave up what I messaged you, 37 points in the first half, or in the first quarter, 77 points in the first half. The under was dead on arrival. Absolutely terrible performance from Golden State. My guess is they don't care. They're just like, fine, we'll win it at home. What were your takeaways on that game, Tyler?
I need our guy Big T here because I'm in full agreement with him now. There ain't a chance in hell this team's beating the Suns spread.
Oh, you're trying to get title bucks?
No chance. I think they might lose to the Suns in 5 games.
There's no way title's taking the Golden State Warriors over the Suns.
There's a lot of people going to take the Warriors, don't you think?
I don't think. I know that people will, but I don't think there's a chance in hell they beat them. Oof. Golden State has one game plan, it seems like, and if it doesn't work, they're kind of just out of options because they really don't have any other bodies to put on the floor.
I think honestly, the emergence of Poole is throwing some of these other guys off too.
Yep.
All right. Let me jump in here. First of all, the Warriors got crushed on the glass last night. Are the Suns going to be able to do that? Yes. They run kind of a smaller offense too.
Yes.
You
they
think
have
so?
JaVale McGee. Their backups could crush them on the boards.
Yeah, but they can't run the Adams, Jaren Jackson style lineup together. That was so detrimental.
No, but they don't have a Jaren Jackson type, right? Like not many teams do.
Yeah, not many teams do. I'm just saying that it's an interesting matchup. When the Grizzlies go big, the Warriors didn't punish them, right? The idea was Steven Adams was going to be a liability out there, but they're letting him play center. They're not bringing him out in the pick and roll. So that's a mistake by new Sacramento Kings coach, Mike Brown. Boy, pretty excited about that.
Yeah, I would assume that's what they would do for most of the game too, Spread, right?
Yeah, I didn't think he would be good. Robert, who's always in the chat, right? He's like, oh, Steven Adams is going to be big when he comes back. I'm like, I don't think so. They're going to destroy him in the pick and roll. They're going to play him off the floor. And they haven't even tried. I don't really know.
And because of that, yeah, he's an issue. Like, he's a major issue. But the way we thought, I thought the same thing you thought, Spread. Like, oh, they're just going to run him right off the floor if he gets on there. Mm-hmm. And that's not what's happening. It's because they're not even trying it, though, right? Like, they're not
even attacking him. They're letting him play center.
Yeah.
Unbelievable there. So, I mean, I don't know. I think, just a little preview because you won't be on with us tomorrow at JSU, but I think the Warriors are going to just bounce back and crush them at home. I mean, do you think there's any chance this goes back to Memphis?
Oh, man. If this series went back to Memphis, that'd be the ultimate. I don't think it does personally, but again, I don't think anyone really thought this series was.
Everyone thought it was over last night.
Yeah, I mean, that big lineup though, if they don't make any adjustments, they're going to get hurt by it again. That big lineup's causing them problems. I mean, Steven Adams, even in the beginning of the game too, he missed a bunch of bunnies, but he was just offensive rebound. He kept getting his offensive rebounds, and I like that they kept kind of getting it to him, and just his presence was a threat. It was there the entire game for sure. And Jaren Jackson made big buckets. You can't say though, at home to Golden State, that game in Golden State, it almost looked like they just went through the motions the entire game. And then in the fourth quarter, they were like, okay, it's time. Let's turn it on and let's beat these guys. Cause it's, with Ja out, it was probably for them. It's just yep, we got this. It's over.
And that was stupid of them. Nick's got a good question here. He says, do you think Kerr not being able to coach had something to do with that performance last night?
I think if your new coach blows this lead in this series spread, you guys should fire him before he ever steps foot in that office.
I mean, it doesn't matter. You're not winning with the Aaron Fox and DeMontis Sabonis. So, I mean, if you can get Phil Jackson.
If you can't win with this team, you're just setting yourself up for major failure.
No, but they got a bunch of veterans. Don't put this all on the coach here.
It's not the coach's fault.
Yeah.
What was he supposed to do? He was supposed to give a rousing speech at halftime. They came out.
It's not like they're a bunch of young guys either. They're all dudes who have been there and done it. Yeah. And come on.
They're overconfident. They came into the game overconfident, and they didn't care because they're happy to just win tonight. So I gotta address this real quick. Ayton will destroy Golden State for 20 and 18 per game, but he can't do it against Maxi Kleber. I've been saying that the whole time. Phoenix should have swept this series. So let's get into that one tonight. Because I know you guys love the Suns, and I think the Mavericks are cool, but the fact that they're struggling with this team and they can't beat Dallas in Dallas, I think that's an indictment on the Suns just as bad as the Warriors not, even trying treating game 5 like a regular season game. So, I mean, yeah, they absolutely destroyed them in game 5, but they haven't won both games in Dallas, and I wouldn't be surprised to see Dallas win at home tonight. And I think this is the most likely game 7 that we have of the 3 series that are remaining that are likely to go there. 4 series, I guess, technically could go. But I think this is the one's most likely to go 7. I think we see all those role players boost, right? JSU, when you're doing the final countdown, I'm going to be sitting there and just bumping up all of the Mavericks role players and getting them all into my lineup. I might be fading the Suns. Of course, I'm going to listen to you guys on that. But what do you think about this one, JSU? Start with you. I like the Mavericks to get the win tonight, but I think I'm going to be on an island.
I would say, our boy Glaucoma, you're probably not on an island. He'll probably be on your.
That doesn't really count, though, right?
Your island.
I mean, he would take the Mavericks over the 96 Bulls.
Yeah, that's true. Good point, Spread. He would. He would. So, here's the thing. When we're at home, that last game at home for the Mavs, right? Luka Doncic went 1 for 10 from 3, but it didn't matter. It didn't matter. He still had a good game, but like he shot 1 for 10 from 3, but Dorian Finney-Smith shot 8 for 12. Like when you get Bertans coming off the bench in 13 minutes going 4 for 6, like when you get these role players who can do this, and Luka can still score like 25 plus, even if he's not hitting the deep shot. Yeah, that's going to put them in a good position against even the best of teams. You know what I'm saying? Like that type of shooting. I just don't see that continuing. I know they did play really well at home. I just think the Suns are this team is overmatched by the Suns in general. And it's funny because we're watching the Suns team like Chris Paul. What's going on with Chris Paul? Like, it's just
he's 37 years old.
I think it's a bad matchup. It's a bad matchup. They're putting small forwards and power forwards on them.
But teams should have been doing this the whole time. Like, you can't tell me that.
Who do the Pelicans have to put on him?
Yeah, like they have slow-footed guys. Like Bullock and DFS can keep up with him. To where, like, what are the Pelicans going to do? Put, like, Jackson Hayes on him?
But Booker's having no issues with DFS.
Well,
but Booker's in his prime.
Well, yeah, but I'm just saying, DFS isn't on CP3. Like, yeah, Reggie Bullock is. Before this series, did you ever hear anyone talk about Reggie Bullock's great defense spread?
Yeah.
No, stop it. Get out of here.
He's the reason the Knicks aren't in the playoffs anymore. Reggie Bullock goes to Dallas, and the Knicks aren't in the playoffs. Coincidence? I don't think so.
No, the only thing people ever said about Reggie Bullock, he's a good role player, can hit a jump shot.
He's your prototypical 3-and-D guy.
Yeah, okay. No one was talking about his defense. I don't care what anyone says. No one's talking about his defense. And then all of a sudden he gets on CP. He's bigger than him. I don't know. I still don't. It just doesn't. He's not as aggressive either. It doesn't. It looks like he's like, I don't know, just trying to push Ayton and Booker early, like jamming it down our throats instead of just saying like, get out of my way. I'm going to take this dude. Like I'm going to roast him. It just feels to me like he's not being as aggressive early. He's trying to like let the younger guys get it. Honestly, like he's trying to get Ayton paid. He's trying to give Booker the spotlight. That's what it looks like to me. I don't know what you guys like, if you guys watch it and see similar things, but to me, it's like he's totally fine with just giving the ball to these other guys and getting out of the way.
I think it's just typical being a point guard and being the quarterback of the team. Number one, that 8 mismatch is never going to be as good. I mean, Dallas doesn't have a center.
They're doing that weird thing. They're doing that weird thing.
Dallas doesn't have a center, Fred, and they're still pushing Ayton like off the block as easy as possible. Like, do you notice that whenever he catches a ball like down low with his back to the basket, he's like a full step or two off the block? Like, how can't that dude seal these guys and just catch the ball on the block and just take one dribble and pound it in? Do you notice that? He's taking like fade hooks.
It hasn't been good. It hasn't been good for DeAndre Ayton. And I said, why did the Suns re-sign this guy to the max? Like, what does he need to do? And I'm like, well, they see him every day. I just watch him on League Pass a couple times a week. Maybe maybe they know something that I don't know here. Tyler, one for the Mavs, one for the Suns. I think I have an idea of where you're going, but go ahead and end the suspense.
Yeah, this series is over tonight. I mean, I think we the people's got it right. I think a big game from Booker's coming, and I think he just lights them up 35 plus points here. They blow them out. Them 2 games Dallas won, I mean, they live and died by the 3. They made 20 plus threes in the 2 games they won. Mm-hmm. You've seen it after the first half of the last game. They couldn't make a 3-pointer. They couldn't even make a shot in that second half, and their whole team just died.
It's a little different at home, though, when the whole crowd's going crazy every time you make it and you start to get that momentum. I mean, I was joking around this morning, but I'm like, when you're modeling this, you should make home court advantage worth like 12 points in your model if you were trying to actually predict these. It's ridiculous, the difference that these teams go back and forth.
Except for the Celtics and Bucks series.
Right. No, I'm talking about in this series and in the Philly series for tonight's game.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
So you got it ending tonight, huh, Tyler?
Yeah, I got it ending tonight. I think they cover because I just don't think Dallas shoots as good from the 3. I think Ayton started to wake up in that second half and get a little more aggressive. He was getting under the rim, getting some more rebounds, actually dunked the ball a few times. If he does that from the start of tonight till the end, they should blow them out again. So, yeah, I'm on the Suns here for sure.
I'd agree with you. I just don't trust Ayton to show up. I'm going to just take one question that's a little bit off real quick. Barry Davis says, what do you think about the 2 teaser, Heat +6 and Suns +2? All I would say is you should never tease the NBA. Here's the thing. You're getting 6 points in the NFL on a total of 45. In the NBA, I'm getting 4 points on a total of what's tonight's game, 207 and 212. It's just you're not getting a lot of value there. I think there's better ways you can approach it, especially if you like those sides. JSU, what else you got for us on this game? Are we fading the Suns? Fading the Warriors last night was great. If I just didn't take Derek White and Bobby Portis out of the player pool, I probably would have done a lot better, right? Because those were the two that kind of seemed to be on a lot.
I took out of the player pool too.
Well, yeah, because I was listening to you. I just do whatever you say on the final countdown.
Yeah. Well, the Bobby Porter, even though I knew at some point it had to come, I was just like so fed up with it. The Bobby Portis game, of course, it comes, at the wrong time for us, but that's all right. We knew it was coming. I would say, first of all, I agree with Tyler. I think the series is over. Personally, though, I think it's very interesting that you, Spread, who I've done these shows with you, you were not a Dallas backer throughout the season.
No, I haven't been. I think they're going to lose by 30 in Game 7.
I was more of a Dallas backer throughout the season than I think anyone else on the show outside of Glaucoma, whenever he comes on. But that's just homerism half the time speaking. We know this. I love you, Glock. But, it's interesting that you like Dallas. It has to be more just you feel comfortable at home with how well these home teams have been playing. Because they're just overmatched when Phoenix is even, I don't know, 3/4 the Phoenix Suns team, when DeAndre Ayton's, halfway decent. Chris Paul's bad, and they're still winning games. They're still blowing them out, and Chris Paul's not really doing much, right? Like, that's just overmatched.
I completely agree. The roster of the Phoenix Suns is so much better. For whatever reason, we just haven't seen it on the road in this series.
Yeah, I know, but a team like that, it's coming. It's coming. Yeah, Dallas was unbelievable from 3 in those home games. They were unbelievable shooting the ball. Jalen Brunson was amazing that first game at home. Like I said, DFS in the second game at home shot 8 for 12 from 3. Yeah, no, I don't. You can't trust those role players, in my opinion, to have those type of games and win here. I trust Phoenix way more in this situation. Even though they've struggled the first two, I'm not that worried. I'm putting my faith in Booker and Ayton and even CP, as bad as, in my opinion, is bad.
And JSU, I've done these shows with you, and you have a saying, I want the best player.
Yeah.
Who's the best player in this series?
It's Luka. I mean, it is Luka. I want the best 3 of the 4.
All right, Tyler.
True, you got me with my own damn thing. Screw you, Spread.
Tyler, looking at the props, what do you got for us?
Yeah, of course, I'm going to like the Devin Booker points at 27.5. You could go his threes also at 2.5. It's pretty juiced, though, so maybe you buy it up to 4 and get the plus 180 on it. Looking at assists, Chris Paul has racked up a ton, but I like Luka at 8.5. You get the plus 114 on that. He is at home. The role player should shoot better, so he should be able to rack up some assists there. And then looking at some of these performance doubles, I think Ayton gets another double-double and they win, so I like that at plus 180. And then looking at some of these Booker ones, Booker 30+ and Phoenix wins plus 290. Where's the next one at? We got Booker 4+ threes and Phoenix wins plus 350. Like, you could go all the way up to, if you wanted to do the same game parlay of just doing him 40+ points and then win the game, because him to score 40 tonight's 12-1.
All right, I agree with you on that.
If you did that in Phoenix money line, that gets you 17-1.
I like that. On the Ayton, I completely agree with you, because if he has a big game, my pick is sunk. But he's just had an opportunity to have a big game, and I just haven't seen it. And I'm really surprised, because I thought this was a great matchup for him. JSU, I got the prices on DK pulled up right now. You guys had a great call to fade the Warriors last night, and you guys even thought they were going to win. Do I take? Can I downgrade some of these Suns role players? Like I know, of course, you're going to want, especially if you're doing a bunch of entries, right? You're going to want some Chris Paul, some Devin Booker, and Ayton. But how are you dealing with these other players on the Suns when you're making your projections?
Before you go into that,
go ahead.
2 names I want to bring up: Shamit, Biyombo. Like they seem to have like spots in that rotation now. Like, what do you think about those guys tonight? They're like cheap plugins.
Yeah, it was interesting. They it seemed to like work too when they came in there, like the defense, like the adjustments they made. I mean, I would expect them to at least give them another shot and stay in this rotation, right? After how good they looked last game. But that'll be interesting with Bismack and JaVale. Like, because JaVale's been their guy for most of the season. But they could just go to Bismack. I could see.
I think they go to Bismack because he switches the best of the 3. As much as Ayton is billed at the switch defender, from what I've seen in the series, Bismack's been the best switch defender, and I think that just opens up so much for their defense, allowing Bridges and the rest of the guys, Cam Johnson, to fly around, get in those passing lanes, and just disrupt everything.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I mean, they've got these 2 backup bigs are both pretty good, in my opinion, for like their backup roles.
Yeah.
But I think for this series, what you just said, it makes a ton of sense that Bismack should get more run over JaVale for whatever that is, the 15 minutes that he normally gets, whatever 13 minutes, whatever.
It felt like, what game did I just have Ayton in like every single lineup? Game 3. Ayton got in foul trouble in the first half, but then in the second half, he wasn't in foul trouble, and he didn't come back until the 4th.
That was the game I think I had him in my core, right, Spread? I think he was still on the winner, and he had like 31 fantasy points. Like, he didn't even have that good of a game. Like, he had 31 fantasy points, and he was somehow still on a winner. But, yeah, I mean, I could see a similar outcome here, Spread. Like, I wouldn't be shocked if he had like just another like decent performance, but was on the winner at 31. That's why, like, I wouldn't take those guys out. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Like, even guys like Jay Crowder, like, I wouldn't take him out. Like, I just think that at his price tag, he could have like a decent game and still find himself on the winner because of the way the prices are with this slate. I just don't, the role players that I really don't like from the Suns most of the time is like Mikal Bridges, because I really feel like he just, especially when he's not at home, he just kind of stands around the corner and he's not as aggressive, and it's all more focused on some of these other guys. But Cam Johnson, he was decent last game at 4,500. If he puts up 20 something, he might be on the winner just because there's no value on this slate. You know what I mean? So I don't think you just take them out of your player pool. I think you just kind of downgrade them. Like, maybe you under project some of these role players a little bit and see if they hit your build still, which they might. Because like I said, the value is lacking on this slate. The other side is more the interesting side for me, like the Dallas side. What do I do with all these guys like Maxi Kleber at 5-2 back at home? Like, I thought he was a terrible play last slate at 5-2. He had probably, I think, his worst game of the series last game. Only played 24 minutes, obviously, but 11 fantasy points. I don't know if I play him at 5-2, even at home. But like DFS, Reggie Bullock, DFS's prices dropped back down, which is interesting. Back down from 5,900 to 5,500. I like that price a little more. Reggie Bullock's prices dropped, I'm pretty sure. He was 5,400 in game 3, and now he's down to 5K. So like some of these guys, same thing. I would project the Dallas guys probably over the Phoenix guys and run them. I think the Dallas role players are a little better than the Phoenix role players. So if you put like Bridges and Crowder and all those guys kind of in a boat, those role players, and then you put the Dallas guys, I'll probably have more of the Dallas side tonight at home, just because I do think the role players have a better chance of having a better game.
Yeah, I like I particularly like DFS tonight. The one that I'm fine staying away from is, who was it? I just had it was at 5K. Bullock's the one I was happy to stay away from.
Oh, Bullock. So you play
he banged up his knee last game too.
Yeah, I like Kleber because that
So you're
seems to be
saying
Luka's favorite
CP3 is
pick
going
and
to
roll
get away
partner.
from that elite defense with that banged up knee? We're going to get CP3 explosion game with that banged up knee?
I mean,
we
elite
might.
hairstyle, elite defense. What more do you want from the guy, JSU?
Elite hairstyle, elite defense.
All right. Anything more from this game? We went out of order before we head east to talk about the 76ers.
Yeah, we did go out of order. No, I mean, it's going to be an interesting slate tonight. I haven't built any teams yet, but yeah, we'll
I
make
can't
sure
wait
we
to watch
get
you
more
guys
involved.
navigate it tonight. And you know what's awesome about tonight on the final countdown? I thought I was nice and polite on here, but Glaucoma has the politest shit talking of any player in Run Pure, right? It's just so awesome to see. And he's going to disagree with you in such a humble manner. It's going to be great. So definitely looking forward to his appearance tonight with, of course, Holden running the show. Let's go over, because I know we're opposite on this one too, JSU, so this will be a lot of fun. One of these series, I like the home team, and one of them I don't. And I think, this is really going to correlate well to our DFS projections. My worry here, and the reason I like Miami, is I don't know how much longer Embiid can do this for. And my idea is he's got the sprained thumb, he's got the broken orbital, and I've never had a broken orbital, but my idea is I'll bet you any type of contact, he's in pain. When he's backing someone down, he's in pain. When he's boxing someone out, he feels it in his face, right? I think that's just tough for a guy. I mean, he's giving it us all out there, and I don't think anyone is right to criticize him at all for any reason, performance or, being out there. I think he's doing a great job, but I wonder how much can his body handle. The flip side, of course, is, Tobias Harris, right? All these guys are, if his NBA 2K, right, we'd all move him up 15 points for being at home, right? Tobias Harris goes from being like a 74 to an 89 at home, these style things. So, of course, the role players, it's almost like we have the same handicap for different games. We'll start with you, JSU. Tell us why you like the Philadelphia 76ers at home against your favorite guy, your favorite coffee making, Jimmy Butler. You're picking against him.
Yeah. So everyone knows that I like Miami for the series. I talked about it before the series started. I actually do. It's fun. It's funny how things work, because I actually have Miami in 6th as a ticket before the series started. So I did bet that. But at the same time, I got to go kind of on a little hedge because of what I'm seeing. So, I mean, I'm hedging it out a little bit, but from what I'm seeing, I don't know about you guys, but watching that Philly game last night, that they stepped on the floor, but did they really step on the floor? I mean, Miami.
What was worse, the Philly performance or the Warriors performance?
Oh, it's got to be the Warriors, just because they didn't have Ja and they still just stomped them. But
all right,
I mean, Max Struss was just owning them in his home court, on his home court.
19-10.
Jimmy wasn't. It looked like Jimmy wasn't even trying half the time, to be honest with you. He was just getting wherever he wanted, which he's been doing the whole series. That's not changing. But one of the differences was, which I kind of liked as an adjustment that Philly was doing, was they've been kind of making him more of a scorer in this series. We all know Jimmy likes to facilitate, right? Like Jimmy's he's a star that really likes to facilitate, get others involved, which he still does. But I think that's one of the things Philly's trying to make him. They're baiting him into those jump shots, but man, he's making them, right, Spread? Like this series, that's the one thing. They're like taking 2 steps back when he's out there. Like, I don't know if you saw, there was one possession where Joel Embiid got out there on Jimmy Butler, and he realized it was Jimmy, and he just took 2 steps back and just said, "Oh, I'm not playing you up by the 3-point line. Take it." And Jimmy hesitated for a second, and then just ended up shooting it, because he was like, "What?" Like, the guy's literally sagging into the paint area, the free throw line area, covering me up top. Like, they're trying to force him to shoot those outside jumpers, but he's making a lot of jumpers. He's scoring, and that's one of the reasons why they've been so tough. But at the same time, Philly's just completely different home and away. I think this is the series where you use it more. Like Phoenix to me is just way better. I don't think Miami's way better than Philly. I think they're the better overall team. Like if you made me pick a team, you said you can only take one of these two teams and you get one game. Okay, I'm taking Miami because I just think those guys are tougher.
I'm just taking wherever they're playing.
Yeah. My point though is that's not Phoenix. You can't use my I want to make this clear. Like I just think Phoenix is way better than Dallas. Like that's my honest opinion. But Miami's not way better than Philly. Like that's the truth. Philly, their best players got a friggin' broken orbital bone and 100% spread. There's no way the lights, you didn't even bring up the lights, the noise. I bet you everything affects them. Like that cannot feel good with all that. Like, you know, people got their phone out all the time too. Like all that stuff, all the lighting stuff has to affect his eye, right?
Yeah. I mean,
not just
like
the
I said,
though. I'm saying like all the noise, he's got to get headaches. Like, you know, I get headaches from staring at my screen for too long. I gotta put these damn glasses on half the time so I don't get headaches. Like that dude must get a headache when he walks on the floor. I can't even imagine. You know what I mean? By far one of the toughest dudes in the NBA. I'll give Joel Embiid that. You can't question how tough he is. How bad he run when he got the ball hit into his face, like right in the spot too. Because that wasn't Dedmon's fault either. Like he hit the ball. And the ball went back and hit him in the face. And that was just terrible that it hit him like right there. But I think this is going to go 7 games. I think Philly's going to come out home floor. I love the Danny Green. If you didn't see the video, Allie Mack and me put out a video, bank on it. She gave out a strong winner, Danny Green, over 2.5 threes. It's plus 135 on DK. The dude is shooting 44% at home from 3, and he's 7 for 38 in the playoffs at home from 3. Like just elite. Like all the shots are threes. He's just jacking them up. You get a plus number on it. I like that player prop. So if you want a little,
I think he has more made threes than dribbles.
He might. The only dribbles he makes spread or like to the side, right?
Yeah. All right, Tyler, we've disagreed once again. Break the tie. You like the 76ers or the Heat?
Give me the dog here. I'm taking the Heat. I think when they put Lowry back on the floor on one leg for 2 games.
That was stupid, yeah.
Exactly. And it kind of screwed them. They looked bad in those 2 games. They also made 7 3-pointers in both of those games. They just couldn't make any threes. They lost that second game by 8. That worried me going into last game, and Miami came out and just stomped them. Lowry's out of the lineup. They can play a little faster. I think they just go right back to that tonight. And I don't think they run Philly off the floor. I think Philly plays hard for probably the first half. Maybe they take the lead into halftime. But I think Miami does prevail in the end and close the series out tonight. I think Jimmy has a big one. I think Bam might even have a big game too.
Yeah, Bam's been kind of quiet this
falling off faster than Kyle Lowry, by the way. Like,
well, he's playing with that bad hamstring.
Oh, okay, fine. Before the bad ankle.
Isn't he like 34, 35?
He's been bad, though, is what I'm saying. I don't care if he has a bad ankle.
Point guards aren't supposed to – you're not supposed to be playing point guard at age 34.
I mean, he's not. Jimmy's the point guard anyways.
They play better when Jimmy's the point guard.
Oh, yeah.
That's for sure.
They play better when Victor Oladipo brings up the damn ball.
Oh, you love Oladipo. I've heard you on that.
I want to touch on that. Remember back in the regular season when I said he was coming back? You're like, he's not going to be any help. He doesn't mean anything.
I'll take the L. He's been good. He's been good.
Oh, who said that? Me or Spread?
I said it. I said I didn't think Oladipo was going to come back and do anything.
He's like, he doesn't mean anything.
Yeah. I was about to be like, I don't remember saying those words.
No, that's my L. I'll hold on to that one. If you told me.
How good does he look, though? Like, defensively? Like, I think the fact that they're putting him on James Harden when he's out there, that tells me they like his defense.
And he's healthy. That's what it tells me. And that he's finally healthy. And the fact that he's taken all this run from Duncan Robinson, who's one of the best shooters in the NBA. And the guy can't find a space on the floor. Now, I don't think that'll be the case.
$50 million to sit on the bench.
I don't think that'll be the case next series, though. I think this is specific for the matchup, and they said we don't want guys for Harden to hunt. Right?
You don't think that you think Duncan Robinson gets more run in the next series. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, because who's going to be hunting them when Milwaukee plays them, right? Or even if it is Boston, though, right? Neither of them have that like dominant point guard that's going to hunt another guard. So
yeah, I think if it's Boston, they're going to need Oladipo for his
defense. I don't think you see much of Robinson in a Boston series.
like Tatum, Brown. You're going to need his athleticism, him to be able to switch, because Jimmy can only guard one of them. Like Jimmy can't guard both of them. You know, he needs someone else on the floor who can guard one of them. I think you put Jimmy on Tatum and you put Oladipo on Brown. That's a good one too, like defensively.
I love the Steve Jones podcast too, and he was talking about all this stuff doesn't even matter anymore because they switch so much. So we can sit here before the game and be like, put Jimmy on Tatum, but they're just going to switch for whoever they want. So it's probably another reason why Duncan's not getting that.
Well, again, though, the Heat have the best chance because the Heat have PJ, who they trust. The Heat have other guys who they trust. Like they trust Bam in a one-on-one situation a lot of the times. Bam's super athletic. Like they don't want him out there all the time, but they'll trust him like a few possessions to guard one of those guys out. Think of Miami's team. If you're talking about a league that nowadays they're always switching, can you think of a better like defensive team, like a team that's made to just be able to switch on everyone?
A lot of them are made that way now, aren't they?
Well, no, I'm saying, is there a better team like overall?
I don't think so.
I don't think so.
Boston?
Maybe. They're right there with Boston, I think.
Yeah, I think Boston's got a little more size.
I think they're made perfectly for it. I don't know. Like they don't have a big stiff. They can like their best player can play on just about anyone. No. I don't know. They got a ton of depth. Like they, PJ Tucker at the 4, but they literally put PJ on Harden. Like
JSU, I'm listening to this breakdown and I can't believe you have Philly tonight. We got the better coach, the better defense. I mean,
I hate Philly too. Is the worst part.
I know.
Right? I hate Philly.
Where did this come from? Did someone spike your coffee this morning?
No. I am still going through it though.
Oh wow, you're better at saving it than me. I smashed it like 3 cups before like 7 a.m.
No, this is my second one spread.
Oh, okay. There you go. All right. Yeah, I'm gonna need some too. I got hooked on those. I was off the energy drinks for a while. And now I'm hooked on them again. I haven't had one today, and I definitely feel
get off
that
crap. What are you doing? Don't drink that crap.
It's so rough, but once you start, it's just so hard to stop. But all right, let me ask you a question here because I'm looking at projections. The biggest discrepancy of these projections from SaberSim to Run Pure Sports is Jimmy Butler. Why do you think that is?
So I haven't looked at their projections yet. Hold on, let me pull it up here. I'm assuming Jimmy's projection is lower on Saber and higher on ours.
Yeah, it's almost 9 points lower on Saber.
Yeah, it's weird. Saber's underprojected him for, in my opinion, a lot of the playoffs, which for me, I don't care. I'll just go in and bump his projection. My projection would definitely be closer to the Run Pure projection.
Yeah, mine is set to just use the Run Pure projection. Maybe I'm doing it wrong. But
yeah, I mean, I would always... First of all, if you're using projections, I would always go in there and manually give your tweak to it. Even if it's a little tweak. You don't have to go in and change every guy or bump them a ton every guy or bump them down a ton. But just give your little twist to it because other people are using these optos and a lot of people just run them. And that's, I think, the biggest mistake a lot of people use or one of the bigger mistakes people use with the optos is you just go and straight run them. I like the SaberSim projections for the most part. I like the Run Pure projections for the most part. But I do, if I use a projection, I will put my twist to the projection just so it's a little different. And everyone should do that. I really believe. Unless you just have no time to do it. Unless you're just like on the fly, then it's fine. Use them. Or put them both together. Like whatever you want to do is fine. But I think if you have the time, definitely put your spin on the projections a little bit. If you have a feeling, like I had a feeling that Victor Oladipo was, under projected 2 slates ago because he lost fourth quarter run because of how the game went, but he would have played longer. And, he got kind of unlucky. He had a really bad offensive game, wasn't really aggressive. And then he comes back in the next game and smashes. And he should have been like the highest owned guy on the slate at $4,300. And he was only like 20% owned or something like that.
Yeah.
Like that's where you have a feeling on a guy and you just, okay, I'm just going to bump his projection. Like they're projecting him for like 18 and I'm projecting him for 27 or 28, right? That's going to make him hit on almost 100% of my builds. Now, you don't have to go that crazy on it, but that was just a feeling I had. Similar to like Bobby Portis. If you had a feeling that Bobby Portis was going to like take Brook Lopez's minutes last slate for whatever reason, you would have probably bumped the shit out of his projection. You would have bumped down Brook Lopez. You got to have your own takes with the projections.
Otter's got to take here. Shake Milton, Philly looking for offense. Do you think Doc takes the chance for a little spark?
I mean, that was another thing. If you watched the show two days ago, I talked about Shake Milton. I said, it looks like Doc's giving him more run. Now, he did catch run at the end. He did get that blowout run, but he did play when the game was still, not a blowout, which was interesting to me. It does look like Doc is just trying to find offense. Because Embiid, Bam is just battling with him. Bam is just not making it easy. I really like what Bam is doing from a defensive standpoint. He's being physical with him. It's almost like how I saw the Celtics in ways be physical with Kevin Durant, where it was just, it felt like every time, even when the ball wasn't in his hands,
I thought that was even more because when the referees didn't have the attention on there, they're like, we're just going to rough you up and tire you out.
Yeah, well, they're fighting for position constantly because Embiid's so big. If you just give him a second, he's going to get position on you because he's just massive. So Bam's just like, nope, I'm not letting you for a second just muscle me down low because that's going to be an easy bucket even against me. So they're making it tough, and I respect that for sure. But I think that's one of the reasons why you look at his fantasy numbers, though. He's just getting tired, spread. Like, he's injured. He's getting tired. I think, too, they said, what was he in bed for like 5 days or something like that?
Yeah.
Like, the guy would – it's not like –
I mean, if they had first half fantasy, he'd be the absolute lock.
Yeah.
It was just you only did the first half.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I think Harden's that way a little too, right, Spread? Like, we've seen Harden in first halves have like good, decent first halves, and then the second halves him just fade. Like,
what do you think? What do you think about him overall? I think if you don't like Philly, you want them to extend him. He's going to go off a cliff.
Oh, I've said he's lost a step for a little while now.
Yeah.
I watch him. I've watched him for his whole career. I can tell this dude's lost a step. Like, I knew that before the playoffs started. I knew it. Like, it's just clear to me. There are plays where old James Harden would easily and one finish him, and he just can't even get the step ahead to make the layup. He's, he's still got defenders right in his face when he's driving. He can't beat them. He's struggling to beat guys off the dribble. His deception's getting him the step backs, but teams will live with you shooting step backs. That's the thing. Like, do you think,
especially when his conditioning is suspect and you can hit it for that first half, but your legs go, it's much easier to make a layup than a 3-pointer.
Do you think the Heat are like worried about a step back? Like, oh, we got to watch that step? No, I think they're more like, okay, we got to like, when he does this, he likes to step back off that leg and, okay, we have it timed out a little bit, but I don't think they're like, you can't let him shoot that, right? Like, no, I think they want him to shoot those type of shots, right? That's the shots they want, the contested step backs.
Yeah. Here's a great question from Kevin. Do you take a chance on Biyombo or McGee tonight?
Ooh, I think they found something with Biyombo. I'm with Tyler. I would say that defensively, like Spread said, he makes a lot more sense on the floor. And I think he still gives you a lot of what JaVale gives you too. Mm-hmm. Like offensive, like what does JaVale do that he's way better at Bismack on the offensive end? Like, I think they're very similar. They can both get putbacks, finish around the rim. Like, I don't know. Biyombo's just better defensively.
Is there any chance that Georges Niang finally has a good game tonight?
You want to talk about some dude that sucks, that Doc Rivers just keeps jamming down our throats. It's Georges Niang. Can he not? Like, he needs to not play in this series. Like, I don't know what Doc is thinking with this guy. He's so bad.
I can't imagine you're taking Doc Rivers here in this closeout game,
listen,
man. I mean, talk about the whole
spread. 0 for 7, 1 for 3, 1 for 3, 2 for 5, 0 for 6 from 3-point land. This
he makes them at home. He at least has a couple that goes in at home. He hasn't made one in Miami, has he?
I don't think so.
I think he's made one 3-point
no, he
shot
made
in Miami.
one. He's
made one.
He's literally like 2 for 18 in Miami. Like, Jesus. Yeah, no.
And of course, because we're going to talk bad about him, the Niang game comes tonight and he drops.
He's an
24.
example, though, spread of like, if you're 150ing, you probably want like a sliver of, right? Just because he's so cheap. But like, I don't know. I would go Shake Milton over Niang, even though it does feel like Doc is forcing him a little bit.
Do you think that's because he likes his defense? It doesn't seem like he's anything special to me.
I don't know how you could like his defense. His defense is terrible. His defense is awful. Like, he's so slow. I don't know. So if you're Doc, you're playing like your main guys like 42 minutes here, right? Outside of Embiid, I don't know what Embiid can handle specifically, but like Maxey Harris, right?
You would think this is Doc Rivers.
Yeah,
this isn't.
I think they have to play him like 40+ minutes. But looking at Harris's game log, he hasn't topped 40 minutes since game 5 in Toronto. All the Miami games.
He had foul trouble in some of those games, right, Tyler? Like in 2 of those games in Miami, he had foul trouble.
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah,
or
that
at home. I can't remember. Yeah.
We the People says, I bet spread loves the Heat. All defense, slow paced, and minimal offense. Here's a question for you: Landry Shamet or Shake Milton? Who do you like better tonight, JSU?
Probably Milton, but I think they're close plays, honestly.
I think I like Milton more too. Give me the guy at home, right? Because it's close. And in these 2 series, especially tonight, I mean, I know you can't do it, but I mean, I almost want to make a lineup with only team players on home teams.
I mean, you probably can do it.
Right.
I just don't know if you'll win. That's the problem.
I mean, of course, do it successfully is what I was saying. So, Tyler, anything more on the Sixers and the Heat before we move to the best bets?
The other thing I wanted to touch on was maybe hitting a Jimmy Butler 8+ assist at +220. He is kind of the point guard now. And another one I was looking at, Oladipo's assist line's 2.5 at +135. He played 18 minutes last game. They won the game by about 30. He's going to see more minutes than he's still got over that 2.5 assists in those 18 minutes. If he sees 25 minutes tonight, he should get us 4 to 5 assists.
All right. My worry about Butler is how many potential assists did he have in games 3 and 4 where clank, clank. And these aren't contested threes either, right? I mean, that game 4, Miami missed so many open shots. So something about these home crowds, I have no idea what's going on. Maybe they're taking a page out of the Sacramento handbook. Do you remember when we gave Kobe Bryant the bad hamburger when he came here? We gave him food poisoning. I know Tyler doesn't remember. He's not old enough. JSU, do you remember that?
What was it?
In the Kings-Lakers series, supposedly the hotel gave Kobe like a bath, so he got food poisoning.
What do you mean Tyler's not old enough to remember this? How the fuck old is Tyler?
He would have been 4 years old when it happened.
25.
Oh yeah,
5 years old when it happened.
I thought you were at least my age. Yeah.
No, Tyler's the kid genius on the crew, so we definitely appreciate that. So, all right, Tyler, any more props before we move to the best bets?
Nope, that's it for me on that game. I think that game's going to be kind of ugly, so I don't want to get too many props in that one.
Yeah. Which one do you think is more likely to blow out?
The Miami game.
Would you agree, JSU?
Because I think there's the 2 potential paths where Miami doesn't play well
Yeah,
or Miami just comes out and
agree.
punches them in the mouth.
Yeah, I think Miami's more likely to lay an egg than Phoenix.
Yeah, I don't think Phoenix lays an egg. Yeah. I agree with him.
There's no way you can be thinking about either of those things when you're building a lineup tonight, though, right? You got to just assume that both games stay close.
No, I mean, I disagree. I think if you have a take that way, you can build a lineup that way where, like, you see a blowout in one game and you see a close game in another. I definitely think you could take that route when building your lineups. I mean, shit, we saw this exact slate 2 days ago where Luka had like floor performance and was on the winner. I think Brunson had like an okay performance. He was on the winner. And like, it was because like all those Philly guys busted in the Miami studs, like Jimmy, he was fine. He had 45, but like Bam, like he busted, like all those guys like didn't get there for the most part. So like these dudes who just did a little better in the other game, even though it blew out, and Dallas got smacked, right? And they were still on the winner in fantasy because the other game like was even worse. So
yeah, that's a good point.
You know, it doesn't necessarily mean that what if both games blow out, which is what we saw in the last slate, and Luka's floor still got him there. Same with Brunson. You know what I'm saying? So these price tags matter. The lineup builds matter, but I still say you can still build the script out where like you like Miami and Philly to stay close. Okay, you think Dallas puts it on them at home and Phoenix gets
you would be getting different in that way. I love this stuff. I watch other people's shows too. I read all the articles. I don't see anyone who's predicting a Dallas blowout.
No, and that's my point. So you can make a different building that way, right? Like that's my point overall.
When that happens, we'll see Glaucoma at the top of the leaderboard tonight.
No, I think Glaucoma will still keep it close here. That's the difference. I don't think he has blowout.
All right. Well, I'll be looking forward to seeing that tonight, of course, on the Final Countdown, which is a members-only show. If you're not a member, head on over to runpuresports.com. Use that promo code GetBets. Get access to the SaberSim projections and, of course, watching JSU, Big T, Glaucoma, and Holden field all your questions up to lock. We the people's best bet, Booker, 30-plus and win. He says, see you in the winner's circle. So I'm on that Mavericks Island. It's going to be me, Glaucoma, Jack, and Kate on the island. Tyler, what's your best bet for today?
Give me Miami money line. They're finishing them off tonight.
All right. Tyler, going for the guillotine tonight. JSU, what do you got for us?
Yeah, so I got Philly tonight and the Suns tonight, betting both those teams. And then for a prop, I do like the Danny Green prop that Allie gave out. So check that one out. I think it's still plus 135 on DK Danny Green, over 2.5 threes. I think that's a winner. All that dude shoots is threes, and he's much better at home. So check that prop out. But Suns, Philly, I think that's the way these games go, and those are the winners tonight. So,
all right, Tyler, help me out here because I don't have FanDuel, but just for the people, because most of the people watching do. If I want to do a Butler performance prop, what do you got for me? And I like him to get a lot of assists tonight too. So look for maybe a PRA or points and assists.
Why aren't you what's Jimmy Butler's double number at? If you like assists.
Yeah, that'd be the way to go.
You like just the double?
Just take because then you at least have the rebound out too.
Yeah, he's plus 175 to get a double.
Yeah.
All right, there we go. I'm at Jimmy Butler, double, plus 175. Send Philly packing. Get him out of here. Let Morey give $280 million to his buddy. They can blow it all on strip clubs and watch themselves sink down the standings as they waste the rest of Joel Embiid's prime. I got Miami taking it today. So this is going to be a lot of fun. And JSU, of course, love having you on the show. Do you want to let people know all the great content you are producing this weekend at runpuresports.com?
Yep. Final countdown every day. There's a slate for this week. Obviously,
yeah, you get Saturday off.
You get Saturday off, which would be a nice day off. But we're
great
back
day for you
Monday.
to listen to your fiance. You can hear about her day. It's going to be wonderful.
It's actually the shower, the bridal shower. So I'll be driving her, driving the gifts, driving her back, then there's a cookout after. So then I got to drive.
And you'll be able to give her all your attention to find
She
out
already
all the
told
great
me,
things
she
that
said,
happen.
I'm getting shit-faced, so you have to drive me. So you can't even get shit-faced. You just have to casually have a drink or two and drive me wherever I want to go. So
Well, that's good.
it's gonna be lovely.
She helps you
works out
6 days a
perfectly,
week.
though.
You can do it for one.
Spread, it works out perfectly because there's no NBA games. I said, damn, you picked a good day, because I would have said no to you if there was.
You
NBA
are running pure right now, JSU.
Yeah, I know. She was running pure. Spread is the truth. She was running pure.
All right, Tyler. Any words of wisdom before we sign off?
No, I do have a parlay for him though. I'm gonna take Jimmy Butler 30+ points in Miami wins, and Booker 30+ points in Phoenix wins. That gets you 20-1.
All right, the B&B parlay, Butler and Booker. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. We'll be back tomorrow with AP to go ahead and break down the slate. And we have 2 games tomorrow now, right? We have the Bucks and the Celtics, and the Warriors and the Grizzlies. Should be a lot of fun. So you guys got to jump in the chat, man, because that Bucks Celtics series is so much superior than the other 3 series. I mean, it's just entertainment wise.
It's better than every series, Spread.
Yeah, intrigue.
Better.
Yeah, it's what we thought that the Nets and the Celtics was going to be.
After that game 1, right?
Yeah.
Everyone was like, "Oh my God, this series is going to be the best series ever," and then it wasn't.
Yeah, so I'm glad that they came through. Can't wait to break that down. Appreciate everybody in the chat making the show even better. Make sure you check out the final countdown with JSU. What time do you guys go live tonight?
6 o'clock.
6 o'clock. It should be a lot. If you're like me, you can jump in around 6:10 because Holden likes to screw around for the first 10 minutes.
Yeah, he'll talk about like sex and other shit for like 10 minutes. And
I usually pass on that part, right?
Yeah,
so, I'm old enough. I don't need to hear all that.
Holden's
anymore.
takes. I mean, go follow him on Holden Kushner for his takes, because he posts them on Twitter.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, so he was breaking down the calories down in the workouts. So
he's killing me with some of these calorie breakdowns and all this stuff. Holden's.
Yeah, he's making his own type of fantasy team over there that we can't get in on. So we appreciate everybody for watching. We'll see you tomorrow.